This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Podcast. This is 5 stories that we're following this morning. The first big story is that the country added far more jobs in March than were anticipated. Added 303,000 jobs, expected to be about 210,000, just sort of knocked the socks off of the job reports. Second brings us to what we think of as the conundrum of the day. The Fed won't aggressively start cutting rates until inflation slows or the labor market softens. Inflation can't really slow, and the labor market can't fully soften until the government stops injecting $1 to $2 trillion a year in deficit spending into the economy. So you sort of have this conundrum. The Fed wants to lower rates, but inflation is fighting it, and the deficit, quite frankly, is fighting it. Third, the employment rate fell to 3.8%. The fourth story we're following this morning is Neel Kashkari, who is sort of one of the most respected Fed governors, essentially said, look, if we can't get inflation where we need to get it, that we might not be able to raise rates, to reduce rates, I'm sorry. And this goes a little counter to something that Chairman Powell had said last week, where he talked about, still on the path to cut rates a couple to 3 times this year. What Kashkari said is that if inflation continues to come in stronger than hoped, he anticipates the Fed would hold this benchmark policy rate at closer to 5.25, 9.5 for a lot longer. So that's sort of the fourth story we're following today. First thing is jobs exploded in March, 303,000. Second, the Fed has a conundrum. Third, the unemployment rate went down to 3.8%. Fourth, Neel Kashkari, extremely well-regarded Fed governor, said, hey, we might not be able to move as slowly or quickly on rates as we want to. And then fifth story we're finding this morning, AI is expected to kill many jobs at many companies. This is a survey from Adecco. 2 core quotes in the article, I'll just briefly hit them. 40% of senior executives expect AI to lead to serious job loss, to be cutting jobs. The second thing he said in the article, and this is a Reuters article, is that tech giants like Google and Microsoft have already embarked on a wave of layoffs because of their ability to implement and use AI and generative AI. So that's a fifth story we're following this morning. If other things I'll just mention quickly, great to visit on some of our podcasts today, Dr. Art Papier, founder of Visual DX, and several other great leaders, Molly Gamble from Becker's Healthcare, Lexi Kaiser from Becker's Healthcare, and a host of others. So thank you for joining us on the Becker's Healthcare podcast. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this. 5 quick stories this morning. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast.